In this video, I will provide you with a few things to think about if you have a sagging roof ridge. And before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at a house where everything is nice and straight. The walls are plumb. You can actually place a level up against the walls and everything should be vertically plumb and nice and flat. So flat walls, a nice flat sloping surface for the roof, and a house without a sagging ridge. And if we look at this house here, you can see where the outside edge of the roof is still straight. One of the most common problems with a sagging roof will be that it doesn't have any rafter ties or ceiling joist. And over time it will push the walls out on both sides of the building. It's probably not going to happen on the end because the wall itself will be holding everything together. However, that won't be the case in between the two outer gable walls. And something like this shouldn't require that much thought. If the building is allowed to spread apart, then you could actually see how the roof would sag over time. And again, this is the most common problem you're going to have with a sagging roof. The next problem you could have would be the same situation, except for the fact that the walls will not be bowing out in the center of the building. And if you have a situation like this where you have a sagging roof, but the perimeter walls are still plumb, then there's a good chance you have some type of structural lumber damage. Maybe termites, wood rot, or the wrong lumber sizes. Instead of a 2x6, you needed a 2x8. And if you have a wood framed floor, you could have a problem with the floor also. The floor could be sagging in the center of the building. So you're going to want to focus more on lumber damage and floor damage if you have a situation like this. And even though I've suggested those, if you have any suggestions on what could be the problems for any one of these that I haven't mentioned, feel free to share them with us in the comment area. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at a problem that you could have if the ridge is sagging, the exterior wall is sagging, and the building foundation is sagging. And of course, that's going to be your problem with this roof over here. You're going to want to focus on the building foundation. The damage could be from erosion or a foundation that wasn't built correctly or strong enough. So again, the walls could be vertically plumb in a situation like this. And this is actually a house that I drive by probably 3 times a week in our area. So again, this situation right here probably going to be foundation damage. Next up, let's go ahead and take a look at a house that has a straight or a level foundation. However, the walls are sagging and the ridge is sagging. Something like this might be a red flag for termite damage. However, you're rarely going to come across something like this where the stucco or the siding isn't buckling. And keep in mind that I have exaggerated some of these curves to provide you with an example of what something might look like. Your walls could actually be sagging about 1 inch along with a ridge. The damage might not be that noticeable to most people. However, this doesn't mean that you shouldn't try and find out what's going on, where the problem is, and if you can fix it right now to prevent it from getting worse in the future.